What's Bitcoin's response to significant news events? If you're interested in knowing more about this, please keep watching. Let's take a look. We will soon know the outcome of the next FOMC meeting in just a few hours. The CME FedWatch tool provides a countdown, indicating that in 5 hours and 5 minutes, at 2 a.m. in the GMT+8 time zone, we will learn the outcome of the next FOMC meeting. This upcoming meeting differs significantly from the previous ones and holds great importance. Why is that so? Throughout the past year or so, the United States has been in a cycle of interest rate hikes, with each announcement indicating the extent and pace of the rate increases. However, this time it is highly likely that the U.S. will announce the end of the rate hikes. Many believe the previous rate hike is the last one. Typically, the Federal Reserve releases information gradually to minimize its impact on the market, allowing it to digest the news slowly. We can see that the actual rate of 5.25% for this time is the same as the predicted rate. Let's take a look. It is the same as last time. Previously, the rate was usually increased by at least a basis point. Still, this time it may remain unchanged, maintaining the current interest rate, indicating that the U.S. has reached the terminal rate that will be maintained. It is highly possible that the U.S.'s monetary policy for the overall economy will follow this path going forward. This is a crucial development. Why did I say so? Let's look at the previous cycle of rate hikes in the United States. Let's use the macro-micro chart. We can see that last time, at the end of 2018, the United States ended its rate hiking cycle. And it was also during this time that Bitcoin started to bottom out and began its bull run. So, the period of maintaining the terminal interest rate actually coincided with Bitcoin's small bull market. When interest rates started to decrease, Bitcoin began to experience a downward correction. Okay, let's take a look. Let's examine the data recorded on investing.com for that time, at the end of 2018. Okay, as you can see, here is where the terminal interest rate was. After that, it remained at 2.5% thereafter. This coincided with the start of the bull market in Bitcoin. Okay, look. On December 20th, the interest rate remained at 2.5%. Then, on January 31st, it was also maintained. So, today's announcement is very similar to the one we had in 2019, specifically on January 31st. Okay. That announcement marked the end of the rate hike cycle in the U.S., and we continue to maintain the terminal interest rate of 2.5% for some time. Now, let's go back to the Bitcoin market during that time. January 31st, 2019. Let's revisit the market conditions at that time. Okay. Around January 31st, 2019, which was approximately at this position. And what does this position signify? Let's mark it clearly without any ambiguity. January 31st, 2019 marked the official end of the rate hike cycle in the U.S., right after the announcement was made. If we look at it, after that, we experienced a small bull market, which started when the rate hike cycle ended. And when was the oscillating downtrend initiated? Well, it was when we began cutting interest rates. Yes, it was initiated when the rate cutting began. Okay. Let's go back to the mid-2019 when the rate cutting began. It was around August of that year. So, let's revisit the mid-2019 period. Okay. In mid-2019, we began cutting interest rates. The first interest rate cut was on August 1st. Now, let's return to the Bitcoin market. Where was it around August 1st? Okay. It was approximately here, marking the end of the small bull market for Bitcoin, and the start of the oscillating downtrend, which coincided with the beginning of the interest rate cuts. This round, however, is different from the previous one. We have learned from the last cycle. So based on the experience, we can anticipate the Fed's monetary policy and interest rate decisions. Therefore, this time, the market is responding faster to the Federal Reserve's actions compared to the previous cycle. What does it mean? As you can see, if we look at the timing of the previous small bull market, it started only after the last rate hike and confirmation of its end. However, this current bull market phase is occurring even while interest rates are being reduced. We're still in a rate hiking environment, just at a slower pace. But the market started to rise. That's the rhythm of this current cycle. You can see that this time, the upward trend started from here. This position represents the period when the Fed was still raising interest rates, albeit at a slower pace. As a result, market participants began to anticipate the future direction based on their experience from the previous cycle. The overall rhythm of this cycle is expected to be faster than the previous one. Now, let's move on to the next step. It is highly likely that today, in the early morning at 2 a.m., in our zone, it's daytime in U.S. time, we will confirm whether the U.S. is ending its interest rate hike cycle. In the previous cycle, the upward trend began after the confirmation of the end of rate hikes. However, the upward trend had already started at the previous time point, which means that market participants may have already anticipated the actions of the Fed. Therefore, it is highly possible that this time the anticipation regarding the next step, which is the end of the bull market, is already in place. In this cycle, traders have been anticipating the developments ahead of time. Compared to the previous cycle, there is an earlier anticipation of the current cycle. Let's look at the current predictions. They are similar to what was widely recognized before, which is the expectation to maintain the same level as the previous cycle, without raising interest rates. However, the terminal interest rate is expected to be maintained for a period of time, until U.S. inflation reaches their target of 2%. Okay. I believe today is a crucial time point, especially considering that Bitcoin is currently at such an important level. You can notice that Bitcoin has already formed 2 contact points here, and this would be the third one, making a total of 3 touch points. This trend line is likely to be valid. Therefore, if this time, okay, after the announcement, I believe there are basically 2 options. The first option is to start a downtrend in the oscillation pattern from here, which would likely be a volatile decline rather than a smooth one. Typically, it would involve oscillations. Alternatively, the market could continue to oscillate in this range until there is enough time and volume accumulation, at which point it may choose to develop a downward trend. Okay. Now, if we switch the chart to a smaller time frame, we can see that Bitcoin price movement has been closely following this line recently. It's been following the line we drew. In terms of volume, it is clear that the bears have the upper hand. As you can see, the volume bar here, and here, the rebounds appear weak. As for the ultimate direction, I think it is highly likely that the press conference after 2:30 a.m. will be crucial. During the press conference, Powell will answer questions from journalists, which is significant because he may release some information in advance. We may consider doing a live stream for you all. So, please stay tuned. If you're interested in receiving a free position on the Bybit exchange, click on any of my videos and check out the pinned comment below. Click the Bybit link and complete the KYC process with a $100 deposit to receive a Bitcoin contract position worth $1,000. It's a great deal since it gives away free positions. Feel free to click the link below. Alright, thank you. You're welcome to like and share my videos and subscribe to my channel. Turn on the little bell button to show me your greatest support. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.